Welcome back to the latest episode of Conference Chatter TV, where I pick every game in the Big 12 this college football season. My name's Eric Sorrentino. I'm the KUSports.com Big 12 blogger, and I'm hoping to make some good picks here in Week 7 in the Big 12, just as I did in Week 6 when I had my first undefeated week of the season. And on the year, I have a pretty good record that I'm proud of for now. It's 48-5. In picking Big 12 games this season. That's what we do here on Conference Chatter TV. That's a 90.6% accuracy rate. Let's see if I can improve on that in Week 7. Right to the games here. Thursday is going to be the first day of Big 12 action this week. It's going to be Kansas State at Kansas at 6:30 p.m. Sunflower Showdown time in Lawrence. Now, in picking this game, you take a look at it. Neither offense is particularly great. So I kind of envision a low-scoring affair occurring in Lawrence. I'm going to go with Kansas State just barely surviving here in Lawrence on the road, 24-21 in this. I think this is going to be a very close game, but you take a look, and this is kind of the first time that KU coach Turner Gill has been a part of the Sunflower Showdown. Bill Snyder's got a ton of experience going on for K-State. He's been a part of this rivalry 18 times. He knows everything of what it's all about, and he's 14-4 all time against KU, so he's got a pretty good record going, and I think that he'll extend that record to get one in the win column here in Lawrence. I don't think there's any doubt that K-State will be in this game. Despite the fact that it's in Lawrence, going to be on ESPN, primetime TV, but K-State doesn't turn over the ball that much, despite the fact that they're one-dimensional and almost boring on offense, but they really don't turn the ball over just 6 times all this season. I think that's around top 15 or 20 in the country, and if Daniel Thomas gets going, I think that K-State will have a very good chance of winning this game. If you'll recall, last year, Thomas had a lot of success against the Jayhawks, 185 yards rushing and a touchdown in last year's 17-10 victory in Manhattan. And, it's the same formula for success this year for K-State. That's really no secret. It's give Daniel Thomas the ball and see if teams can stop him. Nebraska was able to do that, but I don't think Kansas is Nebraska, so I think K-State will have a pretty good chance of winning this game. Now, KU has won the last 4 of the past 6 meetings, but I think K-State in this one in a close one. Next, all the rest of the games take place on Saturday, and the most interesting one to me on Saturday, without a question, is Texas at number 5, Nebraska. The Longhorns come in not ranked quite as high as I would have thought at the beginning of the season, and this really could be a must-win game for Texas if it wants any chance of competing for a Big 12 championship. But I can't pick Texas based on what I've seen this season. I'm going with Nebraska at home. And what we've seen this season is Nebraska looking like a team that's destined to play in another Big 12 championship and potentially win that this year. I think this is the first time in a while where I think, the North has a really solid chance of defeating the South, which has not happened lately. And, Nebraska looks like a potential BCS title contender. Number 5 in the country, Taylor Martinez igniting that offense, giving them a major, major spark. One of the best rushing teams in the country is Nebraska, and that's going to be the formula to beat Texas. And, this is like vintage Nebraska with you have 3 capable guys in Martinez, Burkhead, and Roy Hillou Jr., who are very capable of carrying the ball 10 to 15 times a game, even more than that for some of them. And there's going to just be a lot of motivation, I think, on the part of Nebraska from last year's loss in the Big 12 title game. Remember that loss to Texas, 13-12, 1 second. That's how much time remained on the clock after Colt McCoy threw it out of bounds, and it was the very last second, and Hunter Lawrence kicked that field goal. Texas beat Nebraska and went on to play in the BCS championship. So I think something similar could happen here, where Nebraska wins and maybe on its way to a BCS championship down the line. Who knows? But I'm going to take the Huskers in this one at home. After that, we're going number 21 Missouri at Texas A&M. Interesting game. This is a great chance to see if Missouri is for real and if Missouri's defense is for real. The Tigers, 3rd in the country in scoring defense with just over 11 points allowed per game. They've played really, really well. But I'm taking Texas A&M in this because, keep in mind Missouri, right where they want to be, but they haven't had to go on the road yet this season. So I'm thinking, Texas A&M at home, they're due. I mean, let's face it, 38-35 loss to Oklahoma State two weeks ago, and then a 24-17 loss to Arkansas in Arlington, Texas at the Jerry Dome last week. They've played in some really, really close games. I think A&M is due to win one at home here. For them to do that, though, I've been preaching this every single week on the video, and it's no surprise. Aggies, please cut down on the turnovers. 18 turnovers in 5 games this season. That's the second worst mark in the country. And for A&M to win this game, they can't be turning the ball over 4 times like they have. This Missouri defense, I think, is pretty darn good. But I'm going to take A&M. I'm going to take A&M at home. We'll see. If they don't win this one, I might start to lose some faith in the Aggies, but I'll take them here on Saturday. Number 20, Oklahoma State at Texas Tech is the next game. Wow, shootout central written all over this. Take a look at the pass defense rankings in this game. You have Texas Tech, who's 114th in the country in defending the pass, allowing 279 yards per game. Well, there's only one Big 12 team that's worse than that, and sure enough, it's Oklahoma State, ranked 118th in the country, allowing 290 yards through the air per game. Now, your guess is as good as mine for this one. I think this is as big a toss-up as you can have, and usually when it's a toss-up game, I'm favoring the home team, and that's what I'm going to do here. Lubbock, Texas. I'm going Texas Tech in this game. They showed, real signs of life last week against Baylor, or at least the offense did. The defense wasn't that great, but maybe it can improve a little bit. And Tech's offense, it's starting to come together. Taylor Potts is looking very, very sharp, over 400 yards last week. So I'm going to take the Red Raiders at home. Next is Baylor at Colorado. Now, in this, another tough one. There's a couple of tough games here this week, and I kind of have a rule about picking with Colorado. I'm never picking them on the road until they win something on the road. They've lost 14 straight games on the road. However, this is in Boulder, Colorado, and that's why I'm taking the Buffaloes. They play a lot better at home, and I think Baylor coming off a pretty difficult loss where they played pretty well against Texas Tech, having to go on the road at Boulder. Colorado, I'm not going to pick you on the road, but I can pick Colorado at home and feel good about it. So I'm going with the Buffs in that. Final game of the week here in the Big 12 is going to be Iowa State at number 6, Oklahoma. This one is probably the easiest one of the week without a question. Oklahoma, I'm taking the Sooners in this. The 33-game home winning streak is it makes it pretty easy to take Oklahoma in that. And just like I don't take Colorado on the road, I almost always take Oklahoma at home. I will probably always take Oklahoma at home, or I'll take them until they lose. They've not lost in again 33 games, best mark in the country. So I see Oklahoma handling Iowa State. That'll do it, guys, for Week 7 in the Big 12, and those are my picks. I'll be back this weekend to reflect on them. Take care. Appreciate you checking out the latest episode. I'm Eric Sorrentino. I am out, and I'll talk to you again this weekend. Thanks.